psychological reasons, give Townsend Bell a chance to run up front, but I don't know how he's going to make the ends meet in any way other than these guys being shuffled back. How far back they fall, probably back in the 13, 14, 15 range when they make those stops.
What a great view of the corkscrew turn, and that turn 9 under the bridge, and that rush downhill. Turn 10, pit in on the left, turn 11, and onto the start-finish straightaway. Imagine the view from those motorhomes parked along the terracing. Laps led thus far this year, Paul Tracy picked up a bunch, leading over 180 laps on the Milwaukee Mile last weekend. As you can see, all of his laps led have been on the ovals. He also had a great day at Motegi on the oval in Japan. Cristiano D'Amata, all of his laps led have come on the road. Actually, it looks like it's been a feast or famine year for everybody up there in the lap leader category. Earlier we heard from Adrian Fernandez, who was out of this race in that crash at the first turn. He scored nearly all of his championship points this year on the oval tracks. He's had a lot of problems on the roads. It's been the opposite for our race leader, Cristiano D'Amata. There's Alex Tagliani. Currently running in 11th. Tora Takagi just ahead of him. Denso Pioneer car for Walker Racing. Ooh, a little bit of tire smoke there in the corkscrew corner. Derek Daly has more on the Players Foresight team.
Just a nice little anecdote. Back in 1957, Pete Lovely won the very first race here at Laguna Seca. Well, his son Chris still works in the business today. He is the gearbox specialist for the Players team that you see here chasing down Tora Takagi. Chris is not here. He's actually back in Indianapolis building the gearboxes for Portland for next weekend.
Pete Lovely. Well, there's a name I haven't heard in a long time. He drives some underpowered car in the Can-Am and showed up all the big bore guys for a while. This battle continues. Takagi 10th, Tagliani 11th. So the race leader Cristiano D'Amata has now completed his 50th lap. It leaves him 37 to go. If he can record a wire-to-wire win here at Laguna Seca, he'll be the first driver to do it since 1999 when Brian Herta did it. Herta always ran well here, scored a couple of wins for Bobby Rahal. 2 of Bobby's 3 wins as a car owner, in addition to his 4 victories as a driver. 4 victories in a row back in the 1980s. We'll take a break and be back with more live from Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca. What a beautiful view over Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, looking out towards Monterey Bay and Old Monterey to the left side of your screen, and in the foreground, one of the great road courses in the world. Site of today's Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey, presented by Mazda. Welcome back. Getting close to some pit stops for Townsend Bell, Jimmy Vasser, and Michel Jourdain Jr. running 7th, 8th, and 9th. But right there is Patrick Carpentier, who was tagging Bruno Junqueira and has gotten by now. Here's how it happened. Down in the hairpin. Ooh, it was closer than I thought when I first saw it.
Kind of a desperation move. And again, Bruno showing kind of real championship maturity. He would have been fully entitled to probably close the door there. It wouldn't have done him any good other than knowing he was right. He would have been stuck with a couple corners hanging off the car. But Bruno deciding that his mind is on the championship, not one position on this race today.
Carpentier quickly opens up a 3-second gap on Junqueira in the Players Forsyth car. Let's get to Derek Daly.
With the busiest man in motor racing. Chip, the weekend overall started off with a great win by your target team in Texas last night. Then Sterling Marlin finishes 4th at Pocono, still retains the lead in the Winston Cup. But now you're here. Can Kenny Brack, do you believe, can he run down Cristiano D'Amata?
Well, I'll be honest with you, Derek, it doesn't appear he can, but there's a lot of race left. I mean, but all things being equal, looks like it's going to be tough for him to reel him in unless something happens.
Did you celebrate last night?
A little bit.
A little bit. Thanks, Chip.
It's a better story than that. Apparently, Chip Ganassi was making a presentation to some sponsors regarding his IRL team. Lo and behold, he decided, hey, you know, the race is on at Texas. Let's turn it on and watch the last 20 laps. On went the television. and Jeff Ward won the race by an eyelash. That's the way to close a deal. Kenny Breck pretty much has the racetrack to himself. He was 11.1 seconds behind Cristiano D'Amato last time by. He's currently shown 10.7 seconds behind. We'll have to watch and see if Kenny Breck could start to bring the hammer down and close up on D'Amato with 33 laps to go in this race. Fast lap of the race for Carpentier, so he was pretty significantly faster than Bruno Junqueira. That lap of 111.703.
These three cars will be doing the pits this lap, we believe, 55. They have to be in. So the intrigue, besides being between these three guys, who can get quicker pit stops, get out and do a better lap on cold tires. Michael Andretti, these guys each need to make one more stop after this stop, as does Michael Andretti. So Michael's team has done a good job of making a good thing of a bad situation. Those two moves you saw, going by Pappas in the corkscrew, being aggressive in Nakano on cold tires, it's going to be real close. These guys are going to come out in the vicinity of Michael Andretti, and each will have to make one more stop. So that will then become for position.
And here they come. Townsend Bell leading Jimmy Vasser and Michel Jourdain Jr.
And you see Jimmy making up time on pit in.
Jimmy Vasser brings his shell car in. A little bit of a change of strategy here. New tires, of course, but a brand new sticker label on the right front. Bridgestone scrubs on the other three corners. No other changes. Good stop by the shell guy, Derek Daly.
Great stop by Townsend Bell also. He's in a great fight here with Jimmy Vasser. The only change they have made to Townsend Bell's car, they have brought the tire pressures up, because on the whole last run, they never came up to the optimum temperature or optimum pressure that they desired.
So they come out the way they went in. Bell, Vasser, and Jourdain.
There's Michael Andretti, leapfrogged by all three of those guys, and now he's on hot tires. These guys are on cold tires, so when it stabilizes, Michael will have leapfrogged by three guys.
There's the Motorola car with Andretti at the keyboard.
Townsend looking like he's putting in a pretty wicked outlap on cold tires. Jimmy closed it up on pit in.
Townsend Bell took his first racing school here at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca, went on to become an instructor here with the Skip Barber organization. He's clearly turned more laps at this racetrack than anywhere else we go. It was at this racetrack a year ago that he dominated the race to clinch the Dayton Indy Lights Championship. Then went out and started cutting donuts everywhere, but he neglected to notice that not everybody had come down from racing speed and earned himself a $10,000 fine for reckless driving.
Now, when we talked to Jim McGee yesterday, he said they're just trying to support Townsend. Dr. McGee, the psychologist, is trying to give him a boost, but behind the scenes, the rumor has it that Pat Patrick is ready to drop the hatchet. And so I'm just, something going on there with Dominguez letting D'Amato by.
Race leader trying to get by Dominguez, yeah.
And he gave back another probably 6/8 of a second, but he's catching a big gaggle of traffic. Now, this is a decision for the Newman Haas team to make, very similar to what we had in Mexico. They are not yet in their window. I guess lap 62 would be the first time he can stop and still make it to the end. So he's going to have to do the best job he can getting by this lap traffic. It's going to eat into his gap to Kenny Breck. He doesn't have to be in until 67 based on his fuel window, but he can stop as early as 62, and they might want to do that if this traffic impedes him too much.
Calvin Fish.
Well, we saw Mario Dominguez let D'Amato by. That came up in the drivers' meeting here yesterday. They were concerned at Milwaukee that some of the lap cars were holding up the leaders of the race. And they said if anyone holds up a leader on a road course or an oval for more than 3 consecutive laps, they would be black flagged. So Mario's having a bit of a tough day. So a lot of potential here this weekend in the Herders car. Fastest in the morning warm-up.
Well, they give him 3 laps. 3 laps. If each car holds Cristiano in, that's Carpentier.
He's able to keep it going. Local yellow, that's in turn 6. Fortunately, nobody coming on the scene. He was in 4th place.
He had just run another 111.7, so he was really trying to make hay and trying to reel in Fittipaldi. Just carried too much speed in. The car started to rotate. He corrected.
And then the road turned left on him.
Oh, and then he finally catches the tire barrier. Doesn't look like there's any damage to the car, but the time he spent at rest.
Carpentier is one of the guys who really believes in the new traction control systems. He keeps his foot down when the car gets sideways and kind of trusts the computer to sort things out for him. He said that contributed in part to his crash in qualifying. He got the left side rear off and spun all the way back across the racetrack into the wall. He is a brave boy.
That falls short if you're counting on it to create traction. It maximizes what's there, but it doesn't create any more. If you're in too hot and there's not enough road to keep it gathered up, feed some steering into it, you're going off the road. And the gap down to 6.4 seconds. Kenny Brack in clear traffic or without traffic is starting to reel in Cristiano Damata. So Cristiano has to balance aggression with patience. He's got enough lead to work with, but he doesn't want to let Kenny right up onto his gearbox.
Turn 6 where Carpentier went off. Here comes the corkscrew. Quick, short shift.
Shifting up to third and then banging into fourth immediately. The cars gain speed so quickly in that fast downhill left-hander that he'd have to shift right about in the middle. So he goes into third and immediately into fourth to give the engine room to rev out on exit.
Carpentier spun his way from fourth back to sixth. Calvin Fish has more on the Players Forsyth car.
Okay, we're going to try and get a chat here with Michael Cannon. Mike, you saw Patrick. He looks like he's really pushing hard. He's been the fastest car on the racetrack for a number of laps. What happened there in turn 6?
It's tough to say. I mean, like you were saying, I mean, he's running some good hard laps. He's closing up the gap to the third place car. And I don't know if he had a problem. He hasn't said anything on the radio, or if it just he's just getting a little bit greedy.
How's the balance of the car been today for him?
We were fine. We just held up by traffic, and after the stop, we were able to get around Dixon. And as soon as he got around Junqueira, I mean, he just disappeared.
I think it's just an indication, guys. These are 87-lap sprint races now.
No question about it. We are just 7 laps from pit stops. The gap from leader Cristiano Damata back to Kenny Brack now under 5 seconds. Take a break and return with more. This could get very dramatic in a couple of laps. Back live at the Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey, presented by Mazda. You're riding with the new race leader, Kenny Brack, in the Target Ganassi Toyota Lola. And the reason is he is not yet required to pit. He's got about 5 laps before he'll be in. Oh, he's coming in now, and that's because Cristiano Damata, who was being held up in traffic, was brought in by the Newman Haas team. And now Brack will change. Derek Daly is in the Target pit.
And Bob, it was because of traffic. Kenny likes the car now with the 1.5 turns of front wing they put on the last time. Gonna sit here. Fuel is the last thing as normal. Screamed at 9.8 seconds. Great stop for Kenny Brack.
Here comes Damata to reassume the race lead. Christian Fittipaldi will be in the race lead. Damata will come back out ahead of Brack. Wow, that's a slow corner.
Now this could play into Christian Fittipaldi's hands, just the way traffic fell. Christian is running on a light fuel load, warm tires. Until he catches that same traffic, he will be really making some time. And Christian's running in the 1:12.4 second range, so he's going to put in a series of laps. He has to be in on lap 67, but we'll see where that shakes out. He was a good bit behind. Chances are it's not enough to overcome it all, but it might put him in the hunt. We'll see.
That's a look down on the corkscrew. Damata at the bottom of your screen. Brack coming down the hill to turn 10. There's the Swede.
the pit, Kenny.
To the Crute. I think they're referring to the fact that Fittipaldi will have to pit. Shinji Nakano getting out of the way. While there is Fittipaldi, the new race leader. He'll be in the pits in a moment. It remains to be seen if he was able to build up enough of a time cushion to get him in and out before D'Amata comes around.
According to my calculations, it won't be enough to keep him in front of D'Amata, but it's going to be very, very close to Kenny Brack. It could be that he'll come out in front of Brack, but on cold tires, and have to try to hold him off.
So they see the numbers. Fittipaldi, Junqueira, and Carpentier will all be in on this lap. Well, D'Amata and Brack are good to go. Junqueira is the car between, in addition to Nakano.
This plays into Christian's hands big time. He's being held up. Brack's being held up behind Nakano.
Underneath Nakano he goes. Is that Papista? Ooh.
I think Christian's going to have enough in hand to get out at least in front of him. Going to have to drive a really, really tough lap on cold tires.
Christian should be approaching the pit entrance. Brack, okay, he'll go around Pappas. Had to get that done.
Christian can go one more if he wants. Oh, yep.
No sign of D'Amata up ahead. Carpentier is in. Calvin Fish.
Patrick Carpentier has just set the fastest lap of the race. The guy is absolutely flying. Now, they only get 7 sets of Bridgestones a weekend, and they've saved a set of stickers for him here. Fuel is going in slowly, gravity fed. Not much fuel in the tank. Takes a bit long. He's underway.
And good to go. The remaining 20 laps of the race. So where Carpentier comes out. Tora Takagi moves up into 5th place. There's
Christian rising to the occasion. 1:11.9, his fastest lap of the race. And the battle is, can he get out in front of Kenny Brack for second?
You have an open box into your pit. Brandon, you're pulling with the lights. It's your mark. It's your mark.
That traffic killed him. I think he's going to be able to do it.
I'm here. I'm down here with Christian Fittipaldi. He's very happy with the car. They're not going to make any changes to it. He said, you guys have got to get the job done so he can get very good pit stop. On his way, 9.2 seconds.
time stop. Junqueira's in the pits from 3rd. Derek Daly.
I just spoke to Bill Pappas, Bruno Junqueira's engineer. He said no trouble. It's just been a good, long, hard, fast day. Great stop again for Bruno, still in P3.
Barely scuffed, if they're scuffed at all. That set of Bridgestones looked very new.
Christian got out in front of Brack, but now he has to get up to speed before Kenny can get up next to him.
The reason I bring that up is not only will those tires be cold, but if they're unscuffed, they'll also have that minute layer of silicone that they use to get the tires out of the molds in which they're made. That'll make his job that much harder.
Here he comes. That's Christian, right? The first car in front of Kenny is Christian Fittipaldi. You really see it in the braking zones.
The temptation to stay on it there in turn 9 must be extraordinary.
This is where the gap, or the difference in speed, starts to neutralize. Christian's starting to get some temp in those tires, and we've seen how hard it is to pass here. This is probably Kenny's best chance. He's a long ways back, but this might be his last opportunity.
It's Tony Kanaan, the car ahead, a lap down. The order is D'Amata, Fittipaldi, Brack, Junqueira back out in 4th, Carpentier's 5th. There you see the running order over the top of your screen. "19 laps to go. Looks like Kenny Brack has run out of time to make that move unless he can pin Fittipaldi behind Kanaan. Kanaan does not seem to be going that much slower in the Pioneer car. Down the hill they come. Meanwhile, race leader D'Amata has Alex Tagliani in front of him. Also, well, trying to avoid going a lap down is Tagliani. He's the last car on the lead lap, running 11th. We'll take a break and return with more live. Stand by for more Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey, presented by Mazda. In this Toyota Spotlight, let's recap the highlights. The Bridgestone Grand Prix of Monterey, presented by Mazda thus far. The very first lap was marred by an incident involving 7 cars. Jimmy Vasser, Adrian Fernandez, Michel Jourdain, Dario Franchitti, Paul Tracy, Mario Dominguez, and Townsend Bell. It was the end of the race for Franchitti and for Fernandez, 2nd and 7th in the championship coming in. Paul Tracy began working his way forward, but he had a problem with the left rear on a pit stop, and it became a much bigger problem on his outlap when the left rear wheel departed the car and deposited Tracy hard into the tire wall on the infield, after which Paul did a little house cleaning on his own. Pit stops a bit critical. Here Christian Fittipaldi plays a game of chicken with Bruno Junqueira and exchanges positions on the pit stop. Patrick Carpentier worked his way up to 4th when he spun off at turn 6 without damage to the race car. He fell back to 6th and has picked up one of those positions. Up front, it's been all about Cristiano D'Amata, who led the first 61 laps, picked up the bonus point for laps led. As we look at our Bridgestone race summary, D'Amata is now the race leader after cycling through the final round of 3 pit stops. He has led 66 laps total. 3 cars are out of the race. Paul Tracy, Adrian Fernandez, and Dario Franchitti. We've had 4 lead changes, mostly on pit stops, and 2 caution flags for a total of 8 laps. So the gap is now 10.9 seconds from Cristiano D'Amata to Christian Fittipaldi. Kenny Brack less than a second behind Fittipaldi for 2nd place. Bruno Junqueira runs a distant 4th. Patrick Carpentier about 6 seconds behind him in 5th.
And D'Amata putting an exclamation point on things. He just ran a 1:11.3, lowering the fast lap of the race. By comparison, that's 1.4 seconds quicker than either Christian or Kenny are running at this point. So he's got a lead, but he's still just letting everybody know that he's got plenty in reserve. Give him something to chew on in the week between now and Portland.
The races come thick and fast now. Portland next week, then an off week, and another string of races in a row. Long summer of travel for these teams, some 60,000 miles throughout the year. This is Townsend Bell trying to hold off the race leader. Bell does not want to go a lap down. He's currently shown 10th. Check the gap when Christian Fittipaldi hits the start-finish stripe. Time is going by. 11.8 seconds, so D'Amata is widening that margin up front. Going for that Monterey double. Monterey with 2 R's, the season opener in Mexico, and Monterey with a single R, the Monterey Peninsula here in California. D'Amata has been simply dominant around this racetrack. He was a half-second quicker than anyone in sneak preview back in February. 4 sessions. He led all 4 of them. In fact, it was a surprise he didn't kill everybody in the opening round of pole qualifying. Instead, he finished 2nd to Kenny Brack, then came back and won the pole with the help of a turbo problem that spewed smoke and oil around the racetrack. He did not pull off the track, so he did not bring out a red flag, which would have cost him his best lap. Instead, he limped back into the pits. His colleagues argued that he had oiled down the track unfairly, but he retained his first career pole position.
You see Townsend Bell just ahead of our leader. And Townsend was running with both Vassar and Jourdain on the same strategy. Townsend must have got caught in traffic, and Jim McGee called him in a little bit before he had to be in. Vassar took that opportunity to run some quick laps by himself, much like Christian Fittipaldi did. So when Vassar's finished with his pit stop, it'll be close. We'll have to look to see where he comes out relative to Townsend Bell.
Right now, the Newman Haas team runs 1-2. D'Amata and Fittipaldi. Back in 1992, they had a 1-2 finish here. Michael and Father Mario Andretti. There's Jimmy Vassar, currently shown in 7th. That is Scott Dixon ahead of him on the road. Vassar now pits. Calvin Fish awaits him.
Jimmy Vassar rolls down pit lane, 50-mile-an-hour speed limit. They're going to try and get him in and out and try and gain that track position on Townsend. 4 tire change. It should be minimal fuel, slight front tire pressure adjustment. Going up with that, try and stabilize the car a little bit in transition. 8.6 seconds for Jimmy Vassar and the Shell Boys.
Vassar heads back out. See where he winds up in the running order. Meanwhile, up front, it's Cristiano D'Amata, whose previous best finish here was 15th back in the year 2000. He's doing much better now. There's a look at Mazda Raceway Laguna Seca from high above the Monterey Peninsula. Some folks, this is wine country. To some, fishing grounds. To some, great golf at Pebble or Spyglass. To race fans, it's all about Laguna Seca. Carved from the grounds of the now decommissioned Fort Ord back in the 1970s. The racetrack has been here for longer than that, and over the years contributed more than $500,000 to local charities. It's run by a volunteer organization, Sports Car Racing Association of the Monterey Peninsula. More than 2,000 volunteers from various organizations, the Boy Scouts, church groups, and so forth, on hand to make these racing weekends go. Only 5 of them in any given year, kicked off this year by the Kart FedEx Championship Series. There is Scott Dixon, who's quietly worked his way up to 6th. Behind Cristiano D'Amata, Christian Fittipaldi, Kenny Brack, Bruno Junqueira, and Patrick Carpentier. Scott Dixon is the subject of our 3rd Toyota Spotlight. His crew is a pickup organization. Derek Daly.
Bob, most teams plan for months or even years for competition and or success. Well, Scott Dixon's new Toyota